Well, good evening, folks. It's Friday Night Podcast. We're here at 81st and Yale and Borders Books and Cafe in Tulsa, Oklahoma. And this evening joining us is this year's Denker champion in Oklahoma, representing us at the Denker Champions in Irvine, California this year, Ryan Farell. Ryan, welcome.
Thank you.
And we also, of course, have always for expert commentary and analysis, our National Master, Chuck Gunry. Chuck, glad to have you back.
Good to be here again.
So, Ryan, very quickly, if you can, give us your impressions. This is not your first year at the Denker, is that correct?
No, it's the second. So I was going here, I guess a veteran to the Denker.
Yeah.
So I had the experience of a previous Denker to help me in this one.
Okay. Well, you played Andrew Schwartzman, who is a life master from New Jersey. He's a very good player. And you played a variation. You played an opening here. Chuck, what's the opening that Ryan plays here?
Oh, this is a very interesting opening. This is an opening that Ryan and I have played many blitz games, and so we're looking at some of the theoretical moves down around move 10 or 15.
Okay. So we get down here. This is all kind of theory book kind of stuff here. We're skipping over. And we get the queen to c2. I think we talked about queen going to e2, but this works fine. And then this attack right here. Now, let's talk about this very quickly. Chuck?
The importance of the queen on c2 and the pieces for white is that they're working well together. White's going to play bd2, threatening the queen indirectly, and that's going to force black to say, whoops, I need to retreat.
Sure.
So the white pieces work well together. Black is still trying to get his pieces out.
Okay, so he does retreat the queen here. And Ryan, you get, of course, defend the pawn right there.
Exactly.
Then we get this h6 move. We get the rook on f to d1. What are you thinking? What are your ideas at this point in the game?
I'm just trying to squeeze him and attack along the d file. And eventually attack on the queen side. So I have a lot of options.
Oh, you'd love that b4, c5.
I would.
Knight to d6 or something in there. That's thematic.
Yeah. And unfortunately, you can't get it in because he's attacking that c pawn, and you had to defend there. So he plays this knight to a6. You, of course, move your rook over, and now I guess he's going to challenge your rooks here. So the a3 move here being to keep the knight out.
Yes, keep the knight out and keep his pieces at bay.
So, Chuck, this is a really very positional game. I don't see any real blunders or anything like that in here. This is a tough game.
Very positional. I like white in this position. Once again, his pieces are working well together. Ryan's right on message with trying to gather his rooks toward the center and stream down the queen file.
Okay, so he retreats this queen back, and we have an h3 move here, which I think sometimes gets played earlier in the game once that queen goes to a5. And looks like he's going to double his rooks up here. And you're doing exactly what you wanted, Ryan.
I wanted to get my rooks open on the d file and playing my bishop up to e3. I'm attacking the a7 pawn as well as keeping the knight out of c5.
So he doubles up here. You go ahead and you take, Chuck, the idea, I guess, being take off his active pieces?
Yes, his rooks are his best pieces. The rest of his pieces aren't working well together. The bishop on e6 appears impressive, but it's biting on granite. So White's a little ahead by taking off the rooks and then playing his bishop back to f1.
So we get this, and now, Ryan, you challenge his rook again right here. Idea being, I guess, take
trade
the rook
off the active pieces, but after reviewing this position, I believe the correct move is just to play bishop back to f1 and block off all of the rook's entry points and start a queenside attack. So could have played it better.
This is very minor stuff, Ryan.
Yeah, this is very subtle. This is very subtle here. And so he plays his bishop back, and then you go ahead and you take off. And at this point, tell us about this queen to b2 move. How do you feel about that?
I think that's my first mistake in the game. Playing my queen back, I'm starting to take the role of the passive player, and I allow him to get some activity. So,
Chuck, rather than this queen to b2, what are you thinking?
Oh, I think bc1 or knight to b1 undeveloped. Protect the c pawn. A must is to get the the white pawn to b4. Start gaining that space that was promised earlier on the queen side.
Okay. So he now brings the queen out. Now we do get the bishop to f1.
It's a little late, but the idea being to um, guard my c pawns. So when the knight comes in to attack my pawns later on, I'll be able to hopefully defend them.
So now he goes and takes off, and you have to take back. He takes here, and I don't know, Chuck. What do you think about that?
It's what we call discombobulation. It's where the black pieces are going to jump into the good squares. Black solved all of his problems. Bishop takes on h6 appears superior as there's a little more mobility for white.
Yeah, if we go back and we look at that, rather than taking here, taking up here seems superior. And you take there. And now, Ryan, what are you thinking here?
I'm pretty much forced to trade the bishop for the knight, otherwise I'm going to get trapped. So.
And now he moves that knight in, he's attacking in. Chuck, it looks pretty defensive here for white.
It's defensive, very complicated, three-piece ending. Kings coming into it are going to be also very, very important. King's worth about 4.5 points in an end game.
Right.
So the king position is going to be probably the deciding part of this game.
He moves the bishop back, attacking the two knights, and now you have to move, Ryan. And that he starts doing exactly what Chuck says. He starts moving that king in. What are you thinking right here? When he starts moving these kings up and these pawns in.
I have the two knights for the two bishops, so I either need to keep all the pawns on the board and keep the king out, or I need to trade them all off. So I just decided to trade them all off.
Oh, yes. If you liquidate the king side, the power of the two bishops will start lessening.
He takes off. You take back here. He takes here. This next move, maybe not here. Maybe next move is this one.
Yeah, that would have been better. It would have saved me a pawn. But I only had like under 10 minutes, so I didn't have as much time to calculate it at all.
There's still a lot of potential for a draw here.
Takes back with the knight, you take with the king. Now the king comes in. Now you do take, but unfortunately, he's got that king over there by that h-pawn now.
And he's threatening the pin.
Yeah. So you have to move back. Chuck, this is not an easy finish for black, but definitely winnable.
The two bishops are about 62% against the knight and the bishop, and now it appears he's going to lose White's going to lose his rook pawn. I think the computers are saying 2.5 points, and they're fair about this. And
he takes off, and now you take back, and it's beginning to not look so good for white now, because he's got that pawn up, and he's got that outside pass pawn on the h-file, and he's got a bishop that's the right color for that square too.
I would be surprised if a life master didn't have this already calculated all the way down.
Mm-hmm.
He knew where he was in this endgame.
This b4 move, Ryan, right here.
It's a desperate move. I'm hoping to. I end up one move short, but I'm hoping to capture the knight pawn and then end up marching my bishop pawn down. And
unfortunately, it doesn't quite work out that way.
But mixing it up, got to take him out of his book.
And
one move short.
One move short. One more move. If you had the king up there to b6, you might have made it. Well, Ryan, congratulations again on representing Oklahoma at the Denker this year. Chuck, I know you're his coach and spent a lot of time working with him. I'm sure you're very proud of his efforts.
Very much so. This is a tremendous game. I know that Ryan walked away with jet lag instead of the point, but, but this is a very good game, Ryan. We're very happy to have you as our representative.
Thank you.
Well, thanks for joining us tonight, guys. We appreciate it. And if you want to come by and watch us record these or be part of the audience, we're over here at 81st and Yale at Borders Books and Cafe in Tulsa, Oklahoma. In the meantime, pleasant chess to all, and thanks for joining us.